you got this song about how you almost signed with Death Row. Right? The Suge Knight song, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And shout out to King Crooked and Corrupt, who y'all got also on that record, dropping super bars.
Ominous World, the last.
Ominous World, Ominous World. Beautiful, beautiful record.
Thank you. Come on, man.
On that song, you talk about going up to the Death Row office. And you had a meeting with Suge, and they made you pass out waters. I want to hear more about that part. I want you to unpack the passing out water part, because I'm fascinated by that part.
We got there like 12 o'clock. And,
start from the top of the story.
Okay.
Like, how'd you even get to having a meeting at Death Row? Did they try to kidnap you like Torre?
Nah. My cousin was interning at Death Row. And he came by. I was in the IE at the time. I just did 20 songs in 2 days. And he came by and I'm playing him the slaps. He was like, dude, you gotta meet Suge. And Suge just dropped, they were just on the cover of Double XL with Left Eye, Crooked, and Corrupt. And they were like, we're looking for lyricists. And I was like, oh, word? Come on. So I was like amped about it already. I was like, for real, I already felt like Suge needed to hear me when he said that. You know what I mean? And so he was like, I'm gonna get a meeting. About a week, 2 weeks later, we got the meeting. So we drive down there at 12 o'clock, noon, you know, we in the office, it's empty pretty much, you know what I mean? And the people working the desk was like, yo, you guys should pass out some waters, some Death Row waters at the Laker parade. Lakers just won shit. And you know, my cousin was the intern, so
So you had to do it.
We had to pass out the waters. You know, they had everybody's face on the waters, some Death Row waters. You know what I mean?
Which is brilliant.
You're like, hell yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, I was.
He was ready to go.
I was ready to go.
He was ready.
You know what I mean?
He was ready to go.
You know.
Yeah.
And Suge didn't show up till about midnight. We're in the office all day, chilling, listening to the engineer work on like posthumous Tupac records. You know what I mean?
That's crazy, bro.
Danny Boy was in there singing singing hooks.
Insane.
You know what I'm saying? And Suge walks in and was like, finally, because we was about to bounce. You know what I mean?
Right.
Suge walks in, he's like checking the mixes out and everything, and then my cousin was like, yo, you gotta peep my cousin, you know what I mean? He was like, all right, give me a sec. Then he came back, got me out the studio. He was like, follow me. I was like, all right, bet. I followed him to the cafeteria, and it's like 12 bloods sitting down watching the game or something, watching TV. It's like 2 TVs. Suge just walk in, turn off the TVs, don't say nothing. Walked back to me and was like, all right, go, bust. Didn't say nothing, and I was ready. I busted 50 bars, I busted 64 bars, and then I busted 100 bars, which is 5 minutes of rapping. You know, 100 bars is 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It's all a cappella. You know what I mean? Just tore that shit down. And he was like, all right, brought me into his office and talked about signing me. You know what I mean? Yep. But RBX talked me out of it.
RBX, of all people.
Man.
Yeah, OG RBX was like, man, Suge gonna take all your money, dude.
Shout out to RBX.
Legend.
RBX is on that Ominous World project, right?
Yes.
Yep. That wasn't a mistake too. Like we wanted to have them all on there just to kind of pay forward the full circle for that story even, you know?
Yep.
The way you told that story just now was very cinematic. That album sounds very cinematic. It's like watching a movie with all the little like accents and all the little things with that album. Is that intentional?
I guess so, yeah. Like, with how RBX was kind of narrating the song and narrating what blues raps were about, even in between, and then the poet at the end kind of summing up the story, but also bringing in sort of like a way out of the darkness that was created through the song, The Ominous World, that has RBX on it. And then, you know, I felt like it may have added to the how it was maybe cinematic by, you know, foreshadowing Corrupt and Crooked. And then later having them mentioned in the song, you know, about
Suge Knight.
The Suge
It's
Knight.
like a play.
Yeah.
And then later kind of bringing back in RBX to kind of tie it all in together, along with, you know, telling the story about Blue, you know?
Since
Another
you
story. I
made
think
your
there's
own
so
Death
many,
Row album.
there's so many ways.
Yeah, because the Death Row shit was cinematic like that. That's part of the appeal of it. That's why I think the reason why Death Row and the West Coast music in general, along with like the sample choices and using live instrumentation, but it appealed to people because of the cinematic nature, particularly of what Dr. Dre was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And beyond that, I just heard this story. I'm like, man, you gotta do a whole song just about that.
Yeah, he's telling me, man.
He's like,
that's
man.
our West Coast album. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's right.
That's our album leaning into the West Coast sound more.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Which side are you on? Get off the fence, son. Which side are you on? Get off the bench, son. Which side are you on? Who will stand to the